Welcome to After the Show, your weekly movie podcast brought to you by A. Scully and Sid Talk. We're addicted to movies. Are you? Welcome. Hello, Sid Talk. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. You caught me in the middle of a yawn, so I'm starting off great.
Starting off on the right foot.
Right on. Oh, that dog is so annoying outside.
It is?
That's part of the before the after the show discussion.
There's a dog outside just yapping.
Oh, my word. It's uncontrollable.
Hopefully you can't hear it in this podcast.
Right. Other than that, we didn't have much of a before the show after the show discussion because we were just talking about
This movie, me some things about my weekend. Correct.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Uneventful discussion.
So it is Sunday, December the 10th, and this is After the Show number 816. We're a movie review podcast. Every week we look at a new movie. This week we're looking at the movie The Killer. It's a 2023 movie. You can watch it on Netflix right now. It's rated R. And it's from our friends at Netflix who sent us a code for review. Sid Talk, give us the synopsis of the movie The Killer.
Well, first, I just realized I'm a little resentful now. They didn't play I'm the Man by The Killers. I'm the man, you know? That'd be perfect.
This was the Smiths movie.
It's the Smiths. All the music is the Smiths and Atticus, who is the Nine Inch Nails person. But just think about it. The Killers, I'm the man.
Isn't it a bit too on the nose?
Maybe. But now I'm upset about it.
I prefer Girlfriend in a Coma, which they did play in this movie.
They played a lot of those. Synopsis is in the title. The man is an assassin and something goes wrong. And then it's a little John Wicky. He's got a little bit of vengeance to exact on somebody somewhere. So it's a little bit of a mystery. There's a good fight scene.
I'll give you the one off the
nihilism,
box.
as whoever said it was a bit nihilistic for him. Brad Pitt.
I'll give you the one that's not on the box because it's on Netflix. So,
oh, no box for this one.
It's on the screen. It says, after a fateful near miss, an assassin battles his employers and himself on an international manhunt he insists isn't personal.
A near miss. It was a total miss. I mean, spoiler alert, in the beginning, he's plotting out his assassination.
It's not really a spoiler. It's the first 10 minutes.
Yeah. He plots out an assassination. He gives you his philosophy, his very fatalistic / nihilistic / existential crisis. No, he's not even looking for meaning in life. He's just over it all. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a fuck.
It's his job.
Right. And he doesn't care. His view is, and he explains it throughout in the beginning, you know, there's billions of people. Everybody's doing their thing. What I'm doing will have no impact on the whole of everything, right? That's sort of that's where you start from with this guy. And then he misses his target completely, not nearly. And then from then he gets irritated when someone else tries to bring his work to his own home. Like I said, it's a little John Wicky.
It's a bit more sophisticated than John Wick.
There's no dog involved. It's, you know what I'm saying?
There is a dog in the movie.
Yeah, but not that dog.
No.
John Wick is all about the dog.
John Wick is like outlandish. This is more realistic.
You reckon?
Yes.
I think you're not correct.
I mean, there's nothing here that is out of the question. Like, he doesn't kill like 100 men in a room.
Oh, true. If you're talking about just sheer action, but I'm talking, but planning, logistics, all that stuff. I don't know how plausible. I mean, plausible, maybe possible. I don't know. I don't know if there are actually people in the world who have multiple passports and live a life of actual utter crime, that they have storage units full of money and weapons and 50 passports with different identities and envelopes ready to go bug out of town. I don't know if that exists.
I feel like it does.
I feel like it doesn't. And so to me, that's outlandish.
Right. Well, we didn't mention this is a David Fincher film. And we've not seen a David Fincher film since Gone Girl. He has made some movies since then, but we haven't seen them. What I like about David Fincher's style, and it really fits this movie perfectly, is he's very clinical.
Very clinical.
And very precise with everything. His shots, the lighting.
It looks gorgeous.
Yeah. And he always has been like that. Even if you look at Fight Club, even though it's like an anarchic movie, it's very precise in a way. This movie is all about this guy being precise, right?
Correct.
And I think the filmmaking fits it perfectly. It's globetrotting a little bit. Well, not a little bit. It's globetrotting.
Maybe it's a biopic.
Fincher really brings his thing here, which the thing that it is very similar to, even though it's not the same subject matter, is his movie The Social Network about Facebook. Do you remember how that looked and felt? This feels the same, but with a killer in it. I like the lonely solitude manner this guy has. He's just on his own. He has somebody. He has a relationship.
That's the cause of the vengeance.
He keeps saying, doesn't he, like, about how you should handle yourself to be successful in this job. And he breaks his rules a few times.
Only once.
Well, I think he breaks his rules when he goes to that house and has that fight. I don't think that is something he would do.
No, I don't think that was unexpected. So maybe breaking the rule of always anticipate, and he didn't really anticipate that.
No.
Fully. He got to fight with a guy who does like what,
and he got emotional about it, which was a mistake.
He got emotional about what?
About what happened to his girl.
Oh, true.
Yeah. He should have handled that more clinically like he normally does.
He says in the beginning that the whole of his philosophy is, I don't give a fuck, right? So that's his whole philosophy. Later in the movie, after all of these things he's doing, he says to himself, so how's that I don't give a fuck thing going? Because clearly he does, right? All he had to do was kill the girlfriend when she's in the hospital, and that would be it. That's an actual solution to his problem, because she could, in fact. Okay, so the girlfriend's at home. He's out doing a job. He fails. They come after him, but instead intervene with the girlfriend, beat her up really bad to try to get information out of her, like where he is.
Right.
She lives, and then, of course, she escapes from these terrible people. So really what he needed to do, because she could get him in trouble at any time in the future. She knows all about him. His solution to that problem would have been to kill her himself, but he did
clearly,
not. Right. But instead he's like, you know what? Screw these people. And then he goes after them.
And he's not the good guy.
Oh, no, he's not a good guy. In fact, as soon as poor Leo, I was like, nope, this is not an anti-hero here.
When you watch John Wick, you're on John Wick's side.
Yes.
You certainly are. No matter what he does, he kill 1,000 people, you're on his side.
Yeah, for some reason. You're just like, go on, John, kill them all. But this guy knows.
But this guy, you're definitely not on his side.
No, Leo didn't deserve to die.
No.
He's a taxi driver.
That was a turning point in the movie where I was like, okay, this guy's a cool hitman guy.
Not cool.
Well,
you mean cold-hearted?
Cold, yeah.
Yes.
I like the idea of that. And he just does his job and he does what he's meant to do, and that's it. But no, he doesn't. There's a moment in the film where he kills somebody. But
he also says that collateral damage, as in innocent bystanders, to him is fine.
He doesn't care, yeah.
He doesn't care. So then you have to turn off the, like, I'm rooting for this guy because of the girlfriend situation. And you have to be like, all the people in this are terrible, including him.
Yeah, there isn't actually a good person.
Leo was fine. And I think the girlfriend is fine.
Maybe Dolores?
The girlfriend's brother. No, Dolores isn't fine. She knew what she was doing.
I don't know.
Dolores worked for his boss.
I don't think she deserved what she got.
Well, I don't know. I mean, she's looked pretty shifty. She worked for his boss,
right,
or the person who gives him his assignments, who kind of screwed him over because they allowed these other people to go beat up the girlfriend. So he had vengeance on them. And Dolores, I just feel like she was done. She needed to go.
Did you like it overall?
I did like it very much.
Yeah, I did.
It was like strangely entertaining. It's gorgeous to look at. The music is, he looks at his Fitbit / Garmin, whatever it is, many, many times.
It's actually a Fitbit. Yeah.
And under the soundtrack or the score is a heartbeat often, because you look at his heartbeat. He wants to keep his heart rate under 60, like when he's doing something.
Right.
It goes up, it goes down. And so when he's about to approach something, you can hear in the background, like you can tell that's supposed to be. And then he looks at his heartbeat and it's really high or it's really low. I like that because it kind of like ties everything together.
And the thing he does to calm down is listen to music. Mm-hmm. And that music happens to be the Smiths every time.
Right.
And David Fincher does this thing where, especially in that beginning scene where he's doing the assassination thing, he does a thing where it cuts to what's in his ears, then it cuts to the outside world, like, over and over.
And you can't hear the music, and then you hear the music, and then you can't hear the music.
And it's really interesting with the way he does it. And then sometimes you can hear his heart beating, and then you can hear nothing, or you can hear muffled stuff from across the road.
So really this guy is like Laura Linney in Ozark. Because in the end, she didn't give a shit that she was doing everything evil. She was evil.
Yeah.
And in the end, she got away with everything. So
are we saying spoilers? Did this guy get away with everything? What did he get?
Spoiler. Spoilers. His girlfriend. He didn't get dead. I mean, there was no money to be had or anything like that. He just to keep on going. So now he has no boss.
Yeah, that's the point. Will he keep on going or is he done now? Is he just going to...
2 or 3 times somebody says to him about, you can afford a whole new life. And so I think that's where he's going in the end.
Just with his girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. What it's basically saying is, be a killer and it'll be all good.
Crime pays.
Yeah, crime pays. Also, don't be a killer because your job might come back and bite you in the ass.
But it didn't, though. He got
I mean, it did. His girlfriend didn't get off lightly.
Yeah, but she's all right in the end.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
You know what I'm saying? So he got off on there. He got away with it all.
He also had to kill a bunch of people for no reason.
Also, don't forget, the person who initiated the initial hit that he failed to do didn't give a shit. He didn't care, and he wasn't in trouble either.
No.
Everything was fine. So the bad guys / women win. This is like Mark 1 for the bad guys of the world.
Yeah. Particularly well made. It's really, I don't know, brooding, I would say. There's a fight sequence in this movie as well. There's one of my favorite fight sequences I've seen.
Yeah, you know me. I don't love fight scenes.
That was a good one, right?
Really good. It was, I said, it reminded me of Alabama Whirly.
Yeah,
because that girl, she fought. If you've ever seen True Romance,
I've seen it.
Yeah, so that's a fight where Alabama picks up any object that she can find. She jumps on Tony Soprano's back, and he's knocking her against the wall, and she picks up the back of the toilet and bashes him with it. A corkscrew right through his foot. I mean, whatever she can grab. That's how vicious this fight was, and I was like, oh, it's like well executed, well choreographed, and it was guttural. Like,
see, one thing I thought about the fight, it didn't look choreographed. It looked like if somebody's coming at you with a thing, this is what you'd do, and kept happening.
That's why it's well choreographed.
Yeah, but like John Wick, sometimes you can see, oh, they're standing on the mark, they're doing the thing. This just felt like a brutal scrap with glass breaking and all kinds of
shit. He took a picture off the wall and just bashed him in the head with it. I mean, I guess in the moment, I don't know. I've never had that kind of fight, but
I mean, it could have been just like a shooting each other thing, but it turned out as a brutal, bloodbath.
Oh, and then the guy fell on the broken table leg right up in his thigh and near his butt. Oh my!
It was not good.
It was vicious.
So let's get on to the cast. Michael Fassbender plays the killer. What do you think?
He's brooding is the word.
He plays it perfectly.
He's flat, which I think is what the person with his absence of philosophy, we're going to say, in life, that all he really wants is this one little tiny bit of comfort. Because in the end, his actual last thing that he's saying is, we'll basically do anything to keep the illusion of comfort.
Yeah.
And his comfort was sitting on a lounge chair next to a pool with his girlfriend with a nice little cup of cappuccino or whatever. And so his philosophy was leading all to that. Like, I will do absolutely anything for this one tiny glimmer of whatever I think is goodness in the world, even though he's horrible, right? And I feel like he really portrayed that throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, cold, calculated, but then there's definitely humanity still in him because there's the loved one, and that's all he cares about.
But he should have let Leo live and then kill the billionaire in the end. That would have been, but that's expected, I suppose. So
we've got Tilda Swinton as the expert.
I almost always like her. I didn't love the thing of 3,000 Years of Longing because it seemed a bit
weird
at the end, but she was interesting in it. Always is very interesting in this. She is basically a counterpart of his, like a co-worker, essentially. Like, she's on the assassin squad. But she was involved in harming his girlfriend. Right. So his conversation with her is in a restaurant, very fancy restaurant. And she's just well put together and calculating. She knows
that it's the end.
I mean, she was planning her way out, but it didn't succeed. But I'm always compelled by her because she's all in. I love that.
We've got Alice Howard as the client. There's not really that much to say about him apart from...
Nah, he could have been anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, he seemed like a sleazy billionaire guy, kind of. And I don't mean because he's a billionaire, but he had a very entitled attitude about, am I supposed to even know you? Like, when he confronts him, like, this thing he did was such not a big deal.
Yeah.
hiring to have someone assassinated was just one of those things
just a thing we do, yeah.
Yeah. But if you want to be sleazy and you want to portray that, he did a good job.
Charles Parnell and Kerry O'Malley as the lawyer and Dolores. There's a scene featuring those two.
They were both good.
Very good. Yeah.
The lawyer guy was like imposing, but then he was screwed over basically there in the end. He didn't have a chance.
So directed by David Fincher, Gone Girl, Seven, Fight Club, Zodiac, The Social Network. He's got a massive list of movies. They're all great.
Are they though? You said you haven't even seen them all.
I haven't seen all of his. I haven't seen Mank. That's the only one I've not seen, which was a couple of years ago.
Is that about someone from Manchester?
No, it's not.
You're a Mank.
I don't know what it's about. A politics thing, maybe something like that. Probably why I didn't see it. Anyway, I like David Fincher's works, and this one goes in there for me. I love this one too. What do you think? Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest, I never remember the movies that David Fincher has done. When you say David Fincher,
I didn't, but
until you remind
Panic Room as well.
Until you remind me, I don't remember. I get him confused with the other guy that you like from Twin Peaks,
David Lynch.
Yeah,
very different.
I know. I don't mean stylistically. I just mean they're both David.
The Game as well. You like The Game, right?
Back in the day, it was probably of its time. I'm guessing.
Panic Room was
Panic
good.
Room was all right. Also, very of its day. Very style over substance. So both
Seven.
of those. Okay, Seven was good. But also, if you really think about it, probably also style over substance. Except, what's in the box? What's in the box?
Fight Club, definitely of its day, but awesome.
Highly stylistic, yeah.
And Zodiac was one of my favorites of his.
That was good.
It's like a 4-hour procedural detective investigation that's just cool. It's really good. I like that one. Fincher is one of the great American filmmakers, right?
I mean, that's subjective. I think some people would find his movies very pretentious and boring. So that quality is sort of if you're talking about technically speaking, high quality.
Yeah. And again, he used Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross for the soundtrack. The soundtrack is mostly the Smiths songs, but there is some very Nine Inch Nails-y music in there, right?
Absolutely.
Some score. And there's a scene where Fassbender actually says 9 Inch Nails. I don't know what that was. Might have been just a nod or just coincidence. So IMDb reviews, what are those?
Reviews on IMDb. And they're 1 star. And you think they're funny.
I mean, not just me think they're funny.
Oh, you're not the only one? I don't know.
No, I'd say the audience.
Okay, the only one in this room.
All right, number 1 says, this is the pointless movie.
Of course. It's a classic. It's a classic.
It's the worst movie I've watched in a long time. After I watched it, I still don't know anything about what any of the characters are. Maybe I'm just an idiot.
Maybe. Okay, we'll go with you on that.
Number 2 says, this is the most boring movie I've ever seen. Everything that happens is very predictable. The killer doesn't act like a professional, like a bloody novice. Even after he commits the crime, he would have been found out after 10 minutes. He was terrible.
Because you know this person? I mean, this person knows how to be a professional hit person. And they're posting a review on IMDb. Like, hey, everybody, I know how to pull off a successful hit. Come and call me sometime.
And the last guy says, please don't waste your time with this movie. It's boring, cold, and trivial.
It's cold.
It's just a person talking to himself for 2 hours. The end.
It's not.
We didn't mention in the main review, he does a voiceover, Michael Fassbender. It's like he's talking to the audience.
Well, he actually said he puts on the music because it quiets his inner talk.
Yeah.
So that's just how his brain's working.
His dialogue, which is basically a narration of what he's doing.
Correct.
But with some really interesting dialogue. He quotes things and he has some very quippy kind of deals.
He's just a funny little assassin.
Not funny. Won't call him funny. Extras, we didn't see any. It's on Netflix. You can see it now. Conclusion, I am going to give The Killer a 7 out of 10.
I think 7's fair.
Why are you going on the same as me?
What's my other song I'm thinking of? Killer, she's a killer.
Killer Queen.
Yeah.
Killer Queen by Queen.
Go. There's another one.
That's not in this movie.
Should be in the movie. Well, I'm advocating that they redo it. Put that song and The Killers, you demand, You're the Man, whatever it's called.
I mean, it's a bit obvious.
Yeah, that's fine.
You're just thinking of songs with the word killer.
I'm accepting that I'm boring now. Formulaic, I'll take it.
Yeah, 7 out of 10 all round. 7 out of 10 is good. It's above average.
It is, but it's not like powerful good.
Right.
That bumps you up to the 8.
Thank you to Netflix for letting us review that movie. Next week, we're going to look at the Christmas movie, The Holdovers.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying the name of it was The Christmas Movie.
No, it's called The Holdovers, and it stars Paul Giamatti.
Okay.
So it might not be the kind of Christmas movie you're expecting. Movie recommendations, I'm going with a couple of Fincher movies that I really... Well, not actually a couple of Fincher movies. One Fincher movie, that's Fight Club. I love Fight Club. I will die on that hill. And my other one's a Michael Fassbender movie that I don't know if a lot of people know it, but it's called Fish Tank. It's by the director Andrea Arnold. And it's one of my favorite movies. I think it is superb, powerful.
It's very touchy.
Yeah, very good.
It's like, oh, you feel very uncomfortable through almost all of it.
British movie, Fish Tank. It's very good.
And are you done?
Yes.
And mine this week are going to be a surprise because it's not about movies. And I will tell you this little description of a little story from last night. I was visiting my mother for the weekend, and last night she kept saying to me, "Are you hungry? Do you want me to fix you some food?" I'm like, "No, I'm fine. I'm 56. I got it. I'm good. I can get me some food." Okay. Minutes later, "Are you hungry?" I'm like, "Nope, I'm good." "Oh, turn on the TV thing and let's watch some of those house shows." Like, she loves buying house shows, fixing up house shows. So I'm just like, in my mind, like, oh my God, my brain's going to die. So we turn on the house show. She gets her food. I'm not hungry. She asks me again, "Do you want some food?" I'm like, oh my God, I am fine. I will get me some food if I want some food. So then she's tired. And I even thought to myself, oh God, when she goes to bed, I will just turn over to whatever. She has like smart TV, so you can pick whatever, right? Or I can watch YouTube, whatever. I thought when she goes to bed, I can watch something else. So she goes to bed. And within like minutes, I went in the kitchen and tiptoed and got like what was left of the bottom of a tub of hummus and some crumbs of tortilla chips. And I'm like, oh, I'm really hungry.
Oh.
Then
see, mother knows best.
Then I went in and the house shows were still on, just like on HGTV Plus or whatever it's called. So I started watching My Millionaire Dream House. My Lottery Dream House home, which is when people have won money, then this guy goes shopping with them to buy their dream house with their winnings. So I'm like, oh, okay, fine. While I'm eating in the dark. And I watched like 2 seasons of it.
Nice.
I know. So my list is all these building house shows on whatever channel. Tiny House Nation, she loves. My Lottery Dream House. Love It or List It, which is British and American, I believe. House Hunters, of course, also shopping for houses. And then just Drew and Jonathan Scott. They're like property brothers, so like anything. So that is my in honor of my mother. Those are the shows she would recommend because they're just so good.
We see those shows on Gogglebox Australia sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like that? No, there's other ones as well where they sell in a house.
Oh, yeah.
And they do it up and sell it. I can't remember what it was called.
Well, they're watching American shows because they're doing it at like Hollywood.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the Billionaires Club or whatever. But
we do watch a lot of international TV.
Well, Australian, Canadian, British, American.
Yes.
That's it. It's multiple countries.
Correct. Thank you, Sid Talk. A Scully Stuff. I have been playing a game called The Invincible. Did you see any of The Invincible?
No.
It's the one where the lady and she's crash landed on a space planet.
I heard you playing it.
Well, it's an adventure game. I got a key for it this week, played a little bit of it. I played about 4 hours, I would say. It's a Polish novel called The Invincible, which I was not aware of at all, but it's highly regarded as one of the best sci-fi novels. Right? Have you heard of that?
No.
Well, it's from 1964, so it's probably older than you.
A little bit. Barely.
So the video game itself is based on that novel. It starts off with like this comic strip.
But just to stop you, I've also heard of Shakespeare, and he was born a long time before me.
True. So it starts off with this comic strip, and then you're in this spaceship. You're a bunch of scientists, and you are going on this spaceship on this journey, and something goes wrong. The next thing you know, you're this lady in a spacesuit, and you're waking up on this planet. And she looks up and this planet's spectacular looking, but like she's on a radio. She can't find any of the people she was with. She doesn't know if they're alive or not. She picks up this scanner and then it's you on this journey as her trying to find what happened there. Like, Did the spaceship crash? Why did it crash? What's this planet that we're on? What's going on here? It's not a game where you do any combat at all. It's a story. You're just trying to, it's like a survival thing. You're trying to go from one place to another. And as you are, it sometimes go to flashback and it shows you what was happening in the ship just before the crash. And I've not got to the end of the game yet, so I don't know the full story, but the graphics are really, really incredible. It's like first person. You see everything. It's really interesting design, like 1960s looking space stuff. So like the little scanner that she holds, it looks like something from Star Trek, like in the 1960s. Everything looks 60s, and I'm assuming that's because this novel from the 60s, they used all that kind of space technology. So it's on Windows, PlayStation 5, Xbox. I was playing it on Steam. It looks awesome. It plays well. And if you like the game Firewatch, which was a game from a few years ago, there was like a story that takes place. It got termed the name Walking Simulator because people kind of were trying to dismiss this kind of game, saying, you don't do any shooting or anything, so what is this? It's not a game. Well, that's what this is. It's a story that takes place, but you're not fighting anything. Do you get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you would like that, actually, because you don't like fighting stuff.
I just think it's boring.
Imagine The Last of Us, but you don't fight anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that. But you're investigating something.
Investigating, I'm not as into as you. If I'm building something like in my Sims and City Skylines, that's what I like.
Well, this story is so, you're not privy to what's going on, really. So every little piece of information you start picking up, you're like, oh, that's what happened. You know, it's a mystery. It's out now. It's on Steam, Xbox, PlayStation 5. Sid Talk, what's for dinner?
Well, you made the soup. Because I was driving home earlier and you made a soup from one of our food boxes.
It was a Marley spoon soup, and it's red pepper and
spinach.
Chickpea.
Oh, yeah, and spinach and some bread with cheese. So that's what we're having.
Yeah.
Sounds yummy.
All right, what's your advice? And let's get out of it.
It's not advice. It's just another story for you. It's story time today. So I was driving home. It's a 3-hour drive. I stopped for the gas station to get some Monster drinks. I had 2 cans of Monster beverage, whatever it was. This isn't a sponsorship, unfortunately, or I would take it, trust me. But the cashier looked at me and said, oh, it's a 2 Monster kind of day. And I said, well, I have spent like 3 or 4 days with my mom, which I love my mom very much. But, you know, we all have our, and I'm like, so I need a little extra caffeine. And she goes, what's up with the earrings? I don't wear matching earrings. I have 4 piercings, 2 on each side, and they never match. And I never have, even since the time I got them. I said, who decided they have to match? And I'm looking her straight in the face. I said, who decided they have to match? And she made this face, like her eyes open wide. She goes, society, like kind of begrudgingly. And I said, yeah, so, you know. And then she put her arm on my arm and said, oh, I love your tattoo. It's just right out there where anybody can see it. You don't have it hidden. I'm like, well, no, why would I? And then she, as I'm doing my carb, she was looking at my shirt really close. And first of all, I have it on backwards because that's how I wear it. And she goes, is that a pajama top? And I said, yeah. And she's like, I think I love you. Are you married? And I said, actually, I am, but thank you for the proposal. So like, you never know, like from this moment on, that person might be like, why do I wear matching earrings all the time? And then not that it has any, just like this guy's philosophy. Not wearing matching earrings has 0 impact on the history of all of creation and everything, right? It doesn't matter. However, if it doesn't matter that they don't match, then it doesn't matter if they do. So fuck it, right? It's my head. It's my ears. It's my earrings. It's my drawer where they're all laying and I don't want to dig around and find matching earrings. So why not, right? And if you get a little bit of that freedom piled up in your head, it can go a long way. And so that's my gas station story for today.
All right. Thank you very much. ascully.com is the place you can go to get this podcast. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're on social media. I'm A Scully. She's Sid Talk. We're also on, well, the podcast itself is on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, and YouTube. And you can email feedback to me, ascully@ascully.com. Don't email Sid Talk. She doesn't want your email. And for my Stay Classy this week, I know he's not the most classiest of people, but Ralph Cirilla from the Howard Stern Show died this week. It's really weird because I don't know Ralph, but I have been listening to the Howard Stern Show for what, 30 years?
Over 20 years.
Over 20 years.
Before you even came here, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I listen all the time, like every day. So
And if you know anything about the Howard Stern show, it's very ritualistic. They have their little clique. They have their group of people. It is a repetitive sort of, this is our life and this is who we are for the whole 30 years. They've had the same group of people.
Yeah.
They have the same kind of stories. You've just grown with them. And like you said, you don't know them. But like with most famous people, you never know them. But some people, when they die, you grieve it. I mean, I think that's fair.
And this is Howard's best friend, basically.
Right. And he will never contribute to the show again. You won't hear his voice again unless you listen to repeats.
Well, the day after the show where actually Howard came on the air the day he died, which was unusual. I didn't think that would happen. But the day after, Howard was saying, he said to Robin, I phoned him up to ask him about something.
Oh.
And then realized.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think everybody does that, right?
Absolutely. Or you think it and then you're like, oh, or you look on your Facebook list or in your texting things, you're swiping through, you're like, oh, it dawns on you that person is, I mean, these are people you know, but still it's absent from your mind until you see a picture or you think about, hey, I'm going to share this with, and you've had a couple of friends who have passed away and.
It's really weird.
Yeah. Because you don't think they're gone all the time. Until you want them not to be gone, and then you're like, oh.
Even, like, my friend Jamin died, 10 years ago?
Oh, no, it hasn't been 10, but it's been a while.
Well, even now, there's times where I go, I'm going to tell Jamin about this game.
I know.
Which is really like, oh, okay.
It's sad.
Yeah. So, rest in peace, Ralph Cirilla, and bye for now. That was what he always said when he...
And I will say, think for yourself and wear unmatching earrings Wear unmatching earrings if you want, because if you don't think for yourself, someone clearly is doing it for you.